Hi there, welcome to our OKX review. I'm Winnie, co-founder of Hoc-trade and Dr. Fee. We are developing the most innovative tool for behavioral trading analytics in which each trader can identify their personal profit and loss-making patterns. One of the most influential aspects on trading performance are still fees. Hence, we're going to deep dive into the OKX fee in this video. After the FTX meltdown, OKX is one of the leading exchanges both in terms of spot and future trading. After watching this video, you will exactly understand the OKX tier level and requirements and the associated spot and future fees. Moreover, you will know how OKX compared to other exchanges in terms of fee and which traders find outstanding trading condition at OKX through our sweet spot analysis. We take a real deep dive into the fees, looking at spot and future as well as maker and taker trades at the different volume levels, which holds some interesting findings. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. OKX applies a tier fee structure both for spot and future trading, meaning that the higher you rise in the tiers, both your maker and taker fees will decrease. Therefore, it is desirable to rise in the tiers. So let's have a look what type of requirements you have to fulfill to rise in those tiers. OKX gives you three options to rise in their tier level, which are holding of the OKB token, the asset balance on your account, or your trading volume. The OKB holdings and asset balance are the same for both spot and future trading. So let's have a look at this first. OKX in total has 13 tier levels, which are NAND level 1 to 5 and VIP 1 to 8. By holding the OKB, you can climb from level 1 to 5. While based in the assets you hold, you can reach up to tier VIP 5. When in VIP 5, you're in tier level 10. The 11th to 13th tier level, you can only reach through your trading volume. Level 1 to 5 apply to traders which have less than 100,000 USD in balance on their account and have less than 10 million US dollar spot trading volume or 50 million USD future volume in the last 30 days. As a completely new trader at OKX, you will start off in tier 1, giving you spot fees of 0.08% for maker and 0.1% for taker trades. If you're not aware of the difference of maker and taker trades and why they are charged differently, we have made a dedicated video for this. I'll link it up here and also put it down below in the description. All the important links for everything shown throughout the video can be found down below in the description. By the way, if you are an active trader, you are probably aware that trading is a lot more about yourself, your emotion and behavior than adding an additional indicator to your trading strategy. Unfortunately, not much data exists on this. This is why we are developing Hoc-trade, a tool in which your trading is automatically analyzed and checked if certain profit, but especially also loss-making patterns exist. This can be revenge trading after a loss trade, cutting your profitable trade too early, or overtrading. To really improve your trading performance, we believe it is extremely important to know which behavior usually lose your money in trading and work out your personal trading edge. Chances are high that when you are watching this video, we have started the beta testing. So, if you're interested in getting a free and early access, just join our Discord server, which I will add in the video description. As mentioned, the fees decrease the higher you rise in the tier level. So how would you get into tier 2? You will need to hold 500 or more OKB token to get into tier 2 and have your spot fees reduced to 0.075% and 0.095% for maker and taker trades. 500 OKB tokens at the time of this video is roughly equal to 18,000 US dollar. In order to get to level 5, you will need to hold 2,000 OKB, which is worth more than 70,000 USD. Quite unlikely given that you hold less than 100,000 US dollar in total balance on your account. If you hold more than 100,000 US dollar of balance in your account, you will automatically be granted tier 6 or VIP 1 already. You can rise the tiers based on your asset balance until tier 10 or VIP 5. which requires you to hold more than 10 million US dollar. However, we'll give you 0% maker fees and 0.04% taker fees for spot trading. The higher tiers for OKX have some very attractive fee rates, even negative fees for maker trades starting from tier 11, but are very hard to reach. More than 500 million US dollar spot volume in a month really is a lot. This fee and tier requirement have been for spot trading. How about future trading? The OKX holding requirements and asset balance requirements are the same as for spot trading. However, the volume requirements are higher in future trading, which makes sense as future trades are usually leveraged and also have lower fee levels. The ratio of spot versus future volume requirement is roughly 1 to 5 at OKX, which is rather at the lower end. At Binance, Bybit, and Kraken, the ratio is typically around 1 to 10 or even 1 to 20. What does that mean? At OKX, it is comparably easier to achieve the tier level through future trading compared to spot trading. However, the tier requirements in general are set quite high at OKX. To reach the VIP levels, you will need 10 million USD spot volume or 50 million USD future values, which is already the highest tier at crypto.com. The great part is that no matter how you achieve in tier levels, so through asset balance, spot or future volume, you will be granted the tier level fees for both spot and future trading. So, for example, if reaching VIP 2 through future trading, you will also enjoy the VIP 2 level spot trading fees. Whether the low spot to future value requirement ratio yields some especially attractive sweet spot at OKX, we will see later during the in-depth comparison to other exchanges. The maker and taker fees for future trading start off at 0.02 and 0.05% for maker and taker at OKX in the first tier level, and are down to 0.01 and 0.03% in tier 6. The fees can go down to minus 0.015 and 0.02% for maker and taker trades in the highest tier level, which is again very hard to reach. And don't be mistaken by the very low percentage number of crypto trading fee, especially for future trading. Fees have a much higher effect on trading performance than many traders think. We did a dedicated video outlining the effect of fees on the trading performance, which you can find up here or down below in the description. How do the fees compare against other exchanges? Before looking at each dimension of spot and futures as well as maker and taker trades, let's first of all have an overall view based on an example. You can easily compare your fee within a few seconds at all major exchanges through a tool such as Dr. Fee. Going to Dr. Fee, we go to the manual analysis, in which we type in our trading volume instead of connecting our account to the tool, which would read our trading history automatically. Let's have an example of a trader in tier 6, so VIP 1 at OKX. We assume a spot volume of 15 million USD and 75 million USD and future trading volume right in the middle of the requirements of tier 6. Let's say the trader has 50% maker and 50% taker trades, has 150,000 US dollar balance, and will be willing to hold 10% of the balance in the native exchange token, such as OKB for OKX or BNB for Binance. Moreover, the trader will be willing to pay the fees with the native exchange token. Let's click Next, and I'll skip the email part here for you. As you can see in this example, OKX is roughly in the middle of the exchanges. At OKX, the user would have paid fees of 306,000 US dollar in a year for those trades. The volume we enter have been rather high, but that is quite a lot in fees. That is why we always recommend to check for your most fee-efficient exchange. At Kraken, the same user would have paid roughly 160K for the exact same trades, or roughly half compared to OKX. We can also check for more exchanges. For example, at Binance, the user would have paid 355,000 US dollar, or at Maxi, even nearly 500,000. So roughly 61% more compared to OKX. This is only one scenario though. Another trader with different value, products traded, and more or less maker and taker trades might be much better or worse off at OKX. Therefore, let's have a more detailed analysis through our sweet spot charts. We're now going to compare OKX to the fee level at other exchanges. And we are starting with the spot maker fees. On the x-axis, we can see the monthly trading volume, and on the y-axis, we see the associated fee levels. OKX is here the black line for this chart. For spot maker trades, OKX start off at 0.08% fees, here hidden behind another line. The maker fees are among the cheapest in the market until a volume level of roughly $1 million. Only then many other exchanges have similar maker spot fee. However, at lower value, many exchanges have maker fees roughly double as high as OKX, at around 0.15% or even more. At volume levels between 1 million and roughly 250 million, I would say OKX is average. While at very high value level, the maker spot fee of OKX become very attractive again. For spot taker fees, OKX start quite attractive again at 0.1%, only beaten by Crypto.com. We see a similar pattern as in the maker spot fee. At higher value, the fee only decreased at a lower pace compared to other exchanges. Therefore, OKX become rather average again at this level. What is the situation in future trading though? For future maker fees, the OKX fees start at a pretty high level at 0.02% and only start to decrease at a volume level of $50 million. At like 45 million USD volume, OKX is pretty much the most expensive exchange for future maker fees. However then, at large volume, OKX gradually become more attractive, even to the point of being the cheapest exchange at very large value here at 2 billion monthly future volume. For future taker trades, OKX start at 0.05% fees, which is average in the market. The same pattern applies. The fee only start to decrease at rather high value. Hence, again, OKX is among the most expensive exchanges at volume level of 40 to 50 million USD. While OKX recover at higher levels, it doesn't reach a leading position for future taker trades as in future maker trades, but rather stay average. For future taker trades, no exchange comes even close to the fees offered at Kraken. So who is well off at OKX in terms of trading fees? To summarize, low-value spot trader, so value below 1 million monthly spot value, have quite attractive fees at OKX. Moreover, very large value trader both in spot and future trading, especially trader with a large share of maker trades find attractive trading fees at OKX. On the other hand, medium value traders both in spot and futures are paying significantly more in fees at OKX compared to other exchanges, as we have also seen during our analysis earlier at Dr. Fee. Overall, I would say OKX has average trading fees compared to other exchanges with some sweet spot for low spot and very large value spot and future traders. Alright, time to wrap up. Don't forget to join our Discord server for your free access to our behavioral trading analytic platform, and if you think you got some valuable information from this video. We will highly appreciate if you leave us a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on. We will continue to develop content for traders. And by the way, we have already made many more reviews for other crypto exchanges. If you are interested, check our channel page. Thanks for watching and stay safe. Please be aware that we at Dr. Fee are no financial advisor. This video is for entertainment purpose only.